Hey guys, आज हम रीड करेंगे जर्नी टू द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ ये वाली बुक. सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. ओके, सबसे पहले है इसका इंट्रो. This classic 19th century science fiction novel by Jules Verne has often been praised for its style and vision of the world. It is the story of the adventure of a 16-year-old German boy, Axel, who follows his uncle, Professor Lindenbrock, across Ireland and down a volcano to the center of the earth. With the hired guide, the story begins in 1863, with the professor rushing home to examine an Icelandic manuscript written in runes, an ancient script created by Germanic peoples in the first or second century, although the story was written in 1864 and most of the one ideas about the inside of the earth have since been proved wrong. It remains an exciting adventure that continues to inspire scientists and lovers of science fiction. You will find another of his stories, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, in level 4 of the series, about Jules Verne. Jules Verne, 1828 to 1905, was a French writer and the founding father of science fiction. His most successful books include Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1864, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 1869, and Around the World in 80 Days, 1872. He wrote about air and underwater travel with clever scientific details. Even before such means of travel became commonplace, through many people think of Verne as a scientist or world traveler. In truth, he was neither. His research was mainly based on books and discussions with his well educated friends. Verne was born in Nantes, sorry, Nantes, France in 1828. His father was a lawyer and Verne went to Paris to study law when he was 19. He soon realized that his true passion lay in theater. His first play was published in 1850. This made his father very angry and he finally withdrew his financial support. Verne had to make money by selling his stories. His luck improved when he met a famous publisher who helped him develop his writings. In his later years, Verne wrote a number of books and stories about what happened when technology got into the hands of able people. By 1867, Verne had made enough money to buy a yacht to sail around Europe. Suffering from diabetes, he died at his home in Boulevard, Longueville, Amiens in 1905 at the age of 77. The street was later renamed the age of 77. The street was later renamed Boulevard Jules Verne in memory of him. All in all, Verne wrote over 70 books and created many memorable characters. After his death, his son edited much of Vane's unfinished material and added missing chapters. Most of his works have been translated into English and gained huge popularity around the world. Page number 3. Okay, chapter 1, The Mysterious Parchment, an exciting discovery. Okay, on 24th May 1863, which was a Sunday, my uncle Professor Lindenbrock came hurrying back towards his little house at 19 King Street, one of the oldest streets in the oldest part of Hamburg. The front door was thrown open. Footsteps shook the staircase, and the master of the house rushed straight through the dining room and into his study. On his way, he threw his walking stick into a corner and his hat onto the table. Follow me, Axel, he shouted as he went past. Before I had time to move, the professor called out again, Axel, haven't you got here yet? I ran into the study. Otto Lindenbrock was a professor at the Johanneum where to give lectures on mineralogy. He was a man who he was a man of learning, and he was he was a man of he was a man of learning, and he was both a geologist and a mineralogist. Give him any small piece of rock and he could instantly say to which of the 600 known types of any mineral it belonged. His name was well known in colleges and scientific organizations all over Europe. Famous scientists, famous scientists like Humboldt and Murphy Davy never failed to visit him when they came through Hamburg. They would discuss their most difficult problems with him. This then was the gentleman who was calling me so impatiently. Imagine a tall, thin man in excellent health. He was fair haired and had a youthful appearance that made him look at least 10 years younger than his true age. Good. Which was 50. His big eyes rolled behind his huge glasses, and his long thin nose looked like the blade of a knife. गाइस पिक यहाँ पर बनी हुई है, शायद लोग दिखाई नहीं दे रहा होगा. इट्स ओके. आगे पढ़ता हूँ. Knife. When I add that whenever he walked, he took steps exactly 3 feet long, and that he kept his face tightly clenched, as if he was getting ready to hit someone, a, a sure sign of a man with a temper. You will know enough. You will know enough about him to understand why I always ran when he called me. My uncle was quite rich, which was unusual in those days for a German professor. His house belonged to him, and so did its contents, which included Groban, his 17-year-old godfather, who came from the Wildland, old Martha, who was both housekeeper and cook, and myself. Both my parents were dead, and my uncle let me live with him. I was his assistant. Altogether, life was happy in that little house on King Street. In spite of the master impatient, the man could never wait for anything. He was always in a greater hurry than nature itself. Such a man had to be obeyed and therefore rushed into his study. I found my uncle sitting in his big armchair, admiring a large old book. Look at this powerful book, Axel, he said. Professor Lindenbrock loved unusual books. What a treasure this is. I found it this morning in Havel's bookshop. He studied, sorry, he said that the book was a valuable manuscript made in Ireland over 700 years ago. It was not written in the ordinary letters of the alphabet, but in runic letters which very few people knew how to read. As he turned over the pages to show me, a small piece of parchment fell out of the book onto the floor. My uncle seized it. What is this? he cried carefully, unfolding it on his table. The parchment contained about 20 lines of the strange letters. The professor looked at the letters for a few moments, then lifting his glasses, he said, I am sure these are unique letters. They are exactly the same as those in the book, but I cannot understand what they mean. It must be a very old form of Icelandic. Professor Lindenbrock did not know all the 2000 languages used in this world, but he knew many of them. But if he couldn't understand this one, he would certainly lose his temper. I was waiting for it to happen when the little clock over the fireplace in the study struck 2 o'clock. At the moment, Martha opened the door, saying, Lunch is ready, Professor.